Good morning, third graders. Today we are on page 223 of your student journal, and we are just going to be continuing with what we were doing yesterday. So we're going to be working more on our scaled bar graphs. So our objective or our goal for the day is, today I will draw scaled bar graphs to represent data. So it's exactly the same objective as we had yesterday. So a couple of reminders about our bar graphs is, remember, they're called bar graphs because of these bars. And we could have horizontal bar graphs where our bars are going horizontally, or we could have vertical bar graphs where our bars are going vertically. We also always have a title, favorite dessert, and we also have a scale, which are numbers. So in the horizontal one, it's going horizontally. In the vertical one, the scale is going vertically. And then we have some sort of categories of what we're measuring. Okay, so I'm actually just going to jump right in and get started on my problems. Here is my first problem. And it says, I'm going to zoom out so you can see the whole thing. It says, complete the scale bar graph to represent the gathered data. Each increment represents 2 students. Okay, so what they mean by each increment represents 2 students is, if you look here, let me scoot some of my books out of the way. If you look here, it says number of book bags, and it goes from 0 to 2 to 4 to 6. So that's what they mean when they say each increment represents 2 students. They're referring to that. Okay, so let's look at what my data is. This is my data. Room 51's book bags. Okay, and it says they have 10 backpacks. 10 people bring backpacks. So I'm going to take my backpack and I'm going to draw a bar up to the 10. And then I can color it in. Okay, roller backpacks. My data says 14. So I'm going to go all the way up to 14 and draw my bar and color it in. Okay, and my last category says messenger bags, messenger bags. And it says that there are 8 messenger bags in my data, so my bar is going to go up to the 8 line, and I can color that one in. And I have now created a vertical bar graph, and the title is Room 51's Book Bags. Okay, I'm going to do one more before we work together. It says, answer the following questions. How many book bags are there in all? Okay, so let's look at this. How many were there in all? Well, if there's 8, 10 right here, 10 backpacks, 14 roller backpacks, and 8 messenger backpacks. I also had that same data up here, but in all means I'm going to be adding those numbers. So in all would be 10 plus 14 plus 8. So I know that 10 plus 14 is 24, and then I could do another 8. So 24 plus 8 would be 32. Okay, how many more students use roller backpacks over messenger bags? Okay, so how many used roller backpacks? 14, and messenger bags was 8. And how many more tells me I'm going to be subtracting. So it's 14 minus 8, which equals 6. Okay, how would the bars change if each increment represented each student rather than 2 students? Explain your reasoning. Okay, so let's look over here. They said if each increment, an increment is each jump up, each line, if each line represented one student instead of two. So can you imagine if this instead of two said one, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we would have had to extend it because my largest number is 14, so it would have had to go up to here probably. It would have had to be much taller. So what would have happened wouldn't my bars have gotten much taller? All of the bars would have gotten taller. They would have all grown significantly taller than where they are. So the 10 would be all the way up to this 10. This 14 would have been all the way up here, and this 8 would have been up here. So I'm going to say my bars would be much taller. So what would happen? That the bars would be taller. Okay, this, and they want me to explain, this is because increments, and increments just means like little parts, pieces. Increments of 1 would mean there would be more increments. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, so increments of 2 means that there was only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 increments to get to the 10. But if I counted by ones, there would be 10 increments to get to the 10. So that's why it would be taller. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's try one together. We're on page 224. And here is our problem. And it says, complete the scaled bar graph to represent the data. Each increment represents 5 students. Okay, so what they mean by each increment is 5 students is down here. So this time the scale is counting by 5. So 0 to 5, 5 to 10. So the scale is counting by 5. This is going to be a horizontal bar graph. And my first one is, I see up here, tiny cars is 15. So we can go to tiny cars, and we need to draw our bar out to the 15. So our bar went all the way to the 15, which is only 1, 2, 3 increments because each one counted by 5s. So let's color that. Okay, then we have sports cars, and sports cars is 25. So let's take our sports cars all the way to 25. And let's color in that. Okay, and then let's take our trucks, and our trucks say there's 10. So our bar needs to go to the 10. So here's the nice thing about graphs is it shows data really easy. It's really clear that the sports car is the most favorite. Okay, now let's answer some questions of this together. It says, how many total students were surveyed? Okay, surveyed means questioned or asked the question. Well, let's look at our paper. I see there was 15 tiny cars, 25 sports cars, and 10 trucks. So that would be 15 plus 25 plus 10. Well, what do we have? I would probably add this as, how many 10s do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4 10s, and then 2 5s is another 10. So that's 50. How many more students prefer tiny cars over trucks? Well, let's look at our number. Tiny cars was 15 and trucks was 10. So 15 minus 10 equals 5. How would the bars change if your scaled graph represented every 2 people? So this is the same idea as what I had done on mine. So if this was every 2, wouldn't we have had to make this get bigger? So to get to the 10, imagine if this was 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So if each increment represented only 2, we would have to make our bars would all get longer. So I think that's what we should say. So we could say that the bars would get longer because you would need more increments. Period. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, today you do have some pages to try on your own. You're going to turn this page, and then you're going to continue to work. You have quite a bit to try on your own today. Have a wonderful day. Bye.